They say most people have to go to rehab multiple times before it sticks. Some go 5, 10, even 20 times. But for me, it worked the first time. And no, it's not because I'm special. It's because of three life changing lessons that completely shifted the way that I saw addiction, the way that I saw healing, and the way that I saw myself. And I'm sharing them with you today because maybe they'll help you too. Okay, I look at these three lessons as seeds that were planted that kind of like doubled up on each other. So by the third one, it was the biggest seed that had been planted that completely changed the way that I saw the world and myself. And if you're new here, my name is Kaylin, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for over 5.5 years, and I created this channel to share my honest thoughts, stories, and opinions on things that have helped me in my sobriety journey, my healing journey, and I hope to inspire somebody else. Before I dive in, I just want to say that this is my personal experience. Everyone's recovery journey looks different. There's no one size fits all for a way to heal. This is just what personally clicked for me, and I'm grateful every day that it did. All right, let's get into it. So, lesson number one is alcohol was never really the problem. I learned that drinking wasn't the issue. The substance you're using or abusing isn't the issue, no matter what it is, whether it's gambling, a substance, alcohol, chocolate, anything that you're using in an unhealthy way and as a way to escape from yourself or your life is a symptom of the underlying problem. The real problem was going underneath, and what I call it is underneath the rug, everything that's been swept under the rug, the unhealed trauma, the anxiety, the need to escape yourself. And I learned that even if I were to put the bottle down, if I didn't heal from those deeper wounds, I would still just be what they call a dry drunk. I'd still be angry, I'd still be bitter, and I'd still be stuck. I'd still be doing the same behaviors and the same patterns, just without using alcohol. So quitting alcohol wasn't enough. I had to actually heal from what made me feel like I needed it in the first place. And that realization was hard, but it saved me. That was the first seed that was planted. And if anybody has been through getting sober, that realization that you may never ever drink alcohol again is the scariest feeling. And I wasn't ready yet. I was still like, if I could think back to that time, I was probably still thinking, how can I manage my drinking? How can I lower the number of beers that I drink a night? How can I heal and maybe drink normally again? I was still in that phase. But learning that I may never drink alcohol again as a very freshly new sober person in rehab was the scariest moment of my life at that point. All right, so that brings us to lesson number two. The victim mentality was keeping me sick. When I realized that there are unhealed versions of me that I needed to work on, it wasn't just about not drinking. This is what came up for me as the most prominent thing. Is that I was in a victim mentality for a while. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate. But this one was really tough to admit because for a long time I was feeling sorry for myself. I was either waiting for somebody to come and save me or at the very least make them feel bad for me. I would cry, get drunk, make a scene. And if anybody can relate, you just find somebody at a party or at a bar and you end up trauma dumping on them in the bathroom. You're talking to a complete stranger, but you're just pouring your whole life out. That was me. And I was looking for a connection, but I was staying stuck in the pain. It felt a lot easier for me to stay negative and to look at the world as, look at what happened to me. Look what they did to me. Look what this happened. Look, all these bad things. And it was easier to do that than to take responsibility for my own healing. It took me realizing that no one was going to come and rescue me. I had to save myself. So choosing to heal was the hardest thing, but it was also the most powerful one. Now, lesson number three, and this one was probably the moment that everything finally clicked and made sense. And after I had gone through lesson one and two, these things were the things that I was being taught that really, really resonated with me. I was being taught a lot, but these things were the biggest ones, in my opinion, for me. So towards the end of my stay, I was really wrestling with finding out what I needed to heal. So, on top of the victim mentality, on top of, okay, we're not going to drink anymore, what else was there? My whole life, I had put a lot of blame on my father. He's a narcissist, and I've talked about this in previous videos, but that was the number one source of pain for me. I always wanted to be daddy's little girl, and anytime I would see videos of dads with their daughters, it would, trigger me and hurt me, and that was just my biggest obstacle that I feel like I had to heal. And I was very angry with him. I had a lot of resentment. I always said, I'm this way because I didn't have a father that loved me enough, or I'm this way, I drink like this because he does, and like he gave me these genetics. Like I always made excuses and always put the blame on somebody else, and the biggest person at that time was him. So I talked to somebody that worked at the rehab, and they offered if we went to go have a chat. And I just remember basically doing that whole trauma dumping thing on him. And after I said, oh, I'm this way, this is why, poor me, I did the whole spiel with him. And for the first time, the answer that I got back from him was nothing like, oh, I'm so sorry, that's such a hard life, I feel so bad for you. That's what I was used to getting and what I had been subconsciously looking for. And he didn't give me that. So initially, my brain was angry that I didn't get that validation. I didn't get that same consolement and comfort and care that I had been receiving anytime that I had trauma dumped on people. But he told me, maybe your dad was a bad father because he didn't have a father that taught him how to be one. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Initially, that brief second, I was angry that he did not respond in the way that I had been used to. But then it hit me again. Because for the first time, I could see that there was a cycle. And doing that amount of healing towards somebody that you have the most resentment against is such a powerful thing, because I learned that hurt people hurt people. Wounded people wound people. And it was like such a massive spiritual awakening that like it felt like the world stopped for a second. I was finally like getting the wheels turning on thinking outside of myself for the first time. It wasn't just about me, and it wasn't about me not being good enough, but it was about the generations of pain that never healed until now. And I didn't realize that this was called breaking a generational curse or breaking the cycle. That's where it very first clicked for me, because I could realize and start thinking about, oh, well, maybe this person wasn't this way because they were never taught, and maybe that person acts this way because of what happened to them. And it started snowballing and opening up a whole new way of thinking for me. And I realized that I could make that choice to break that cycle. I had the power to choose differently. I can choose to heal, and not just for me, but for anybody that comes after me. And that's when it really, really clicked for me that, maybe this is my path, this is my journey. I was getting sober at 22 years old. I was barely legal enough to even drink, and I had already had my limit. It was such a shocking realization to me. But I found my purpose, and maybe I didn't fully realize it in that moment. But I found my purpose, that I'm the one to make a change, to heal, to grow, to think differently, to think outside the box, to maybe, make these videos one day and help inspire others, share my story, be vulnerable, be authentic. And if you're interested, please let me know in the comments, because I wanted to keep this video kind of short and just focused on my stay, but I can make videos about what led up to my stay in rehab. I can make videos on each year after sobriety of what I've been through. And I've gotten a lot of new subscribers here lately, so I feel like um, I'm starting to share my more personal stories. But yeah, so it took me one stay in rehab, and it wasn't, magic, because getting sober doesn't just magically fix everything. You have to do the inner work. And if you're not ready, maybe that's why you have to have multiple trips. Everybody's healing journey looks different, and some things are enough for them, but sometimes, you're just not ready to heal. You didn't hear that thing that clicks yet. And I'm very grateful that I learned it at such an early age and it worked for me. But these deep, painful, powerful truths are what truly, truly helped me change my life. And if you're on your own recovery journey, or maybe you're even thinking about starting, I just want you to know that healing is possible. It's not perfect. It's definitely not easy, but it is so, so, so worth it. And I'm proud of you for even being here, searching, listening, growing, trying to heal. You're not alone, and I'm rooting for you always. If this message resonated with you, or if you want to know more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what resonated for you, or if you want to learn more about my story and my journey in getting sober. Until next time, stay kind to yourself. I love you, and I'm so, so proud of you. I'll see you in the next one.